What's up? It's Truth Hero, and if you're an anime-only fan or haven't caught up to the most recent chapter of My Hero Academia, please click away from this video right now as it certainly contains spoilers. But if you're like me and just can't help yourself, and you've read Boku no Hero Academia chapter 213 of the manga, you know exactly what development I'm talking about. So let's dive in and see why this is actually a good thing for the story, and why My Hero Academia is not ruined. As we see in chapter 213, Deku learns more about the quirk One For All from the Hellboy vestige, and that he'll indeed have to master all the quirks of the previous users of One For All. That's correct. Deku will now have 7 quirks at his disposal, including One For All, and as such is the controversy of having an OP Deku. Believe it or not, Deku having 7 quirks doesn't actually mess with the story of My Hero Academia. Now, I know what you're all thinking. No, you're wrong. Oh my god, Horikoshi just ruined this story, right? This is what happens to all great shonen stories. They become too concentrated on lineage and successors like the Vestiges, or their main characters suddenly inherit wild amounts of power, and you have a Naruto situation all over again. However, My Hero Academia is a bit different in this regard, and here are 4 reasons why. Number 1. Underdog Hero. My Hero Academia, like other shonen anime, has always been about an underdog or unlikely hero surpassing tremendous odds and becoming the greatest. But by Deku suddenly having 7 quirks and all this power, the narrative of an underdog hero is certainly threatened. Let's face it, it's not that impressive if someone who has been given everything then goes on to achieve everything. Not to mention the fact that Deku and Bakugo have a very close rivalry, with Bakugo being just ahead of Deku in combat. But now that Deku has this power and these new quirks, what happens to this rivalry? Here's the thing about being an underdog. You have to be an underdog up until the point you win, otherwise it really doesn't count. And Deku hasn't been that helpless, quirkless boy for a while now. He's been mastering One For All, and compared to the students in the rest of his class, he's hardly an underdog. I'd say he's in the top 3 with Bakugo and Todoroki. Also, before obtaining 6 additional quirks, Deku's first quirk One For All was well suited towards combat. Honestly, if anyone's an underdog or unlikely hero that's going to rise to the top despite the odds, it would be someone like Hitoshi Shinso. Hashtag Shinso for Class 1A. Number 2. It's not that easy. No one said it was going to be easy. Okay. It may seem with the addition of 6 new quirks to One For All that Deku has suddenly become OP. Well, not exactly. See, while every quirk is probably going to be powerful in its own right like Black Whip, they each come with their own limits and drawbacks that Deku is going to have to learn and even adapt his body to. These quirks are also infused with the power of One For All, which means if Deku isn't careful, not only will he suffer the drawback from the quirk in question, but he could also hurt his body and break his bones again. Really, if you want to think about it in a funny way, Deku now has 6 additional ways to break himself. Also, it means that rivalry we all love between Bakugo and Deku isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Number 3. The Greatest Hero. Since day 1 we've known Deku will be the greatest hero, that he is not only going to surpass the likes of Bakugo and the Big 3, but also every pro hero that's ever lived, and having 7 quirks will lend him the power and technique to accomplish this. We also know the purpose of One For All has always been to cultivate enough power and skill to eventually have one of its users defeat All For One. The original user, the Righteous Brother, knew he didn't have nearly enough power to stop his brother, so he used his transfer quirk to pass down the stockpiling quirk All For One forced on him to the next generation of heroes. Over time, this was passed down again and again, with each new user cultivating its power and adding their own unique abilities to it. Deku will be the 9th and the last user of One For All. He's already reached the point where the core of One For All is swelling, and it's reached its max potential. Call it a singularity if you will. This also explains why All Might was unable to harness the power of the Vestiges and the previous users of One For All, and ultimately why I believe All Might failed to defeat All For One. He just wasn't powerful enough. Also, since Deku is destined to defeat All For One, Prison Break arc coming soon. This overpowered Deku actually shakes up the shonen narrative quite a bit, and it may seem like Deku is just that, OP, but the world of My Hero Academia is a bit different. All For One and Shigaraki are more powerful than the greatest heroes, so there will need to be someone equally matched to take them down. Yes, of course shonen villains have been OP before, and yes, underpowered heroes have risen to the occasion. But if All Might couldn't defeat All For One with just the one quirk One For All, how do you expect Deku to? It only makes sense that the greatest hero will defeat the greatest evil. Deku will defeat All For One and Shigaraki, and I imagine he'll need all 7 quirks to do so. This tragic story of two brothers, All For One versus the righteous One For All, will come to a cataclysmic end, an immense clash of superpowers, showcasing a wide variety of quirks and skill. Number 4. An analytical mind. Deku has always been someone with a rather analytical mind, constantly studying every hero and person he sees with a quirk, often to the point of annoying others. But this aspect of his personality actually makes Deku the perfect candidate to handle 7 quirks at once. Controlling the power and drawbacks from 7 quirks will be quite the endeavor, but Deku is up to this task. Due to years of studying and writing in compost notebooks, he knows how so many quirks operate that I'd be hard pressed to think he couldn't handle this challenge and master these quirks from the vestiges. Deku has also learned to fight without relying on any quirk, since he was once quirkless and once couldn't control One For All. He'll be able to adapt like no one else can. He'll be able to use and possibly even fuse quirks together to handle any situation. But then again, did you expect anything less from the greatest hero? Okay, I lied. Bonus reason number 5. Monoma and plot holes. Deku now has 7 quirks, 6 besides One For All, for the purposes of not only fighting All For One and Shigaraki, but also Monoma. Now, I've theorized for quite some time what exactly would happen if Monoma were able to copy One For All, and you can watch that video here. I'll also leave a link to it in the description which you can check out. But this makes much more sense. What if Horikoshi doesn't know how, or even if Monoma can copy One For All? But he could certainly copy one of Deku's other quirks from the vestiges. Monoma is currently facing Deku in the Class 1A vs Class 1B training exercise, and for storytelling purposes, you don't want Monoma copying One For All and then revealing this to all the students. So he could copy another quirk of Deku such as Black Whip, and this could still make for an exciting battle. Also, Monoma has never copied someone with multiple quirks before, so we don't even know if he gets to choose which one he's copying. I guess this actually raises another question, which is, what if Monoma copies a quirk from a vestige that Deku doesn't even know about? What if Monoma copies Shimura Nana's quirk? That would be cool. So listen, I know it seems like My Hero Academia is going down the same route as all the other shonens, and perhaps I'm wrong about all these points. Maybe it really is doomed because Deku has 7 quirks now. But let's be patient and see where Horikoshi goes with this. As we know, he's a great storyteller, and he's done a great job so far, and he takes influence from a lot of great stories. Is Star Wars bad? Well, now it is. But you get the idea. Let's have some patience and just trust in Horikoshi. If you like My Hero Academia content, consider enrolling at UA today by clicking the subscribe button down below. And as always, let me know your thoughts below. Where do you think My Hero Academia will go from here? And is Deku OP? Has him gaining these 6 quirks really ruined it? Or is there hope that this story won't be like other shonens? Let me know. I love your comments. Until next time, Plus Ultra.